Richard, thanks for being here. Now, after losing this challenge over his security levels in the UK, Harry says the decision was made unfairly. Your take on this situation?
Well, I mean, the judge's decision today, as I read it, was pretty categoric in basically rejecting all of his arguments. The judge, in the statement that I've read, said that the government's decisions were not unlawful, they were not irrational, and they were not unfair. And so I think basically on every count that was argued by the Duke and his legal team, the judge has rejected their arguments. So I think there is a likelihood that Harry will appeal. He's very litigious, as we know. He's in court on very many issues. And I think that is the case. Now, I think many people felt that he would not succeed in this matter. Clearly, it is the government's decision as to who they decide to protect on what basis. And frankly, there's every evidence, as I have observed some of Harry's visits in the United Kingdom since 2020, when he left the working royal family, he does appear to have been provided security protection on some occasions. So they will do so on a case-by-case basis. They call it a bespoke approach to security.
What kind of security do Harry and Meghan receive, whether they're in California or when visiting the UK right now?
Well, they do not receive official government security as a matter of course when they go about their lives in the United States. I think it would be completely unreasonable to ask the British government, or the American government for that matter, to provide security to them as they would provide to an elected official or a working member of the royal family, because they have chosen to live in the United States. I mean, those costs would be astronomical. So they have contracted their own private security. And I think one of the reasons that Harry and Meghan are so interested in this particular issue is because that is extremely costly. And so when they are looking at these contracts that they're getting and the way they're paid by different media outlets, they have to factor in security. And that's what the government is essentially saying in the United Kingdom, is because you're now in a business of being paid for your public appearances in some cases and your work, it is reasonable that you would pay for your own security. They will provide it on occasion. Clearly, when the prince or the duchess are at royal official occasions, they're covered by the overall envelope of security that is provided, but they're not going to provide it on a case-by-case basis.
Does the royal family have any say at all over whether Harry receives the same level of security when visiting the UK?
Well, the government's view is that they do not. There's a committee called RAVIC, which is the Royal Protection Committee, which makes decisions on who gets security and who doesn't. The British government has reduced security for some members of the royal family who are at the fringes in recent years, quite significantly. Notably, they've reduced it for the Duke of York, Prince Andrew, because he's no longer a working member of the royal family. And there's other members of the royal family that are included in that decision as well. So they do provide it when they make an assessment that there's a need for it, but it is quite significantly different. At the same time, security for the upper members of the royal family, the King and Queen, Prince and Princess of Wales and their children, is at a very high level because of the ongoing level of threat and public interest in them. So on this committee that makes these decisions, the government really has the lead role. The royal household is represented. Harry argued that because the royal household was represented, they had made the decision. The judge has rejected that argument, and the government has taken full responsibility for making these decisions, as it must.
All right, Richard Berthelsen, CTV News royal commentator, thanks so much for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Renee.